Some Democrats panicked over Mamdani. Obama called him. Now, this is a big shift for Obama because Obama's personal mission in life since 2016 has been to crush anyone to the left of Francisco Franco.
Right.
But he's not a dumb guy. He's not a dumb guy. He made some ill-advised decisions in the campaign, lecturing the brothers, that kind of thing. But he seems to have done some reflection. So, well, goddamn it, I'm going to have to get out ahead of this kind of thing, or they're going to start to redefine my legacy.
Listen, Zoran, what the people are looking for is over-promising and under-delivering. That's really what they're looking for in a leader.
If you start delivering, they're going to realize I was a lying scumbag.
Right. Exactly. I promised the public option. I gave him Romney care. Guess what? Still got reelected in a landslide. They don't give a shit. I was young. I was handsome. I was charismatic. So are you. You're young. You're handsome. You're charismatic. You can tell them anything. I know this rent freeze is on your list of things to do. Just tell them you can't do it because, so they made you fill the rent guidelines board with some corporate landlords, whatever. Just make up some bullshit. You'll get out of it. You're a good-looking guy. I was a good-looking guy back in my day. Back in my days, Zoran, I could have had any man in the world. I mean, any woman in the world. And that got me out of a lot. You'll be fine. Just whatever you do, don't do what you ran on. Whatever you do.
We're gonna have to do a Blue Velvet parody where they throw Mamdani in the back of a car. Obama puts on the nitrous mask and says, "You're like me. You're just like me."
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
In a lengthy call in June, Mr. Obama congratulated Mr. Mamdani, offered him advice about governing, and discussed the importance of giving people hope in a dark time, according to people with knowledge of the conversation. Others in Mr. Obama's orbit have also shown a keen interest in Mr. Mamdani and his campaign. John Favreau, who served as Mr. Obama's speechwriter, and Dan Pfeiffer, a former senior advisor, have been in communication with the Democratic strategist Maurice Katz, among Mr. Mamdani's closest aides. David Axelrod, who served as Mr. Obama's chief campaign strategist and senior advisor, was also curious. Last month, he stopped by Mr. Mamdani's campaign headquarters, then in the Flatiron neighborhood of Manhattan, to meet the candidate and his staff and see things for himself. Quote, "What I found when I went over to that office was a familiar spirit that I hadn't seen in a while of just determined, upbeat idealism. And I looked around at the hopeful faces of those volunteers and thought, oh, you poor bastards. You have no idea what kind of a reaming you're in for." He didn't say that. That's editorial. Mr. Axelrod told me, "You may not agree with every answer he's giving or every idea he has, but he's certainly asking the right questions, which is how do we make the country work for working people? And clearly the way you do that is by turning over more of the government's obligations to private industry. We call it neoliberalism." He said Mr. Mamdani's ability to inspire young Americans who feel economic uncertainty acutely, largely because of the policies of our administration, was critical and something the party at large needed to reckon with. Mr. Axelrod was introduced to Mr. Mamdani by Patrick Gaspard, another Obama insider. Mr. Gaspard, Mr. Obama's 2008 national political director and later the U.S. ambassador to South Africa, has been serving as an informal advisor to Mr. Mamdani. Mr. Axelrod said he found the reaction of much of New York's political establishment dispiriting and outdated. Quote, "Scare the hell out of people and maybe we can get them to vote for our deficient politics," he said, describing the approach with brutal efficiency. Quote, "That's not a politics I want to be associated with. That's not a politics I think prevails." Well, it's pretty remarkable, pretty shameless, as you'd expect from this crew, for them to disown this political moment as if they were not the architects of it. There is absolutely no way, in my opinion, that if Obama had helped out the homeowners and jailed the bankers, I have very little doubt that Donald Trump would never have been the president.
Oh, of course,
That would never have happened. Here you have from ProPublica. This is from 2011, this article. They were already talking about it. Obama broke pledge to force banks to help homeowners. Candidate Obama pledged to support real change in bankruptcy laws to help foundering homeowners. But when it came time to fight for the measure, he didn't show up. Some Democrats now say his administration actually undermined it behind the scenes. So, yes, it is pretty rich for David Axelrod, of all fucking people, to be expressing disdain for the politics of the establishment Democrats. This is what scumbags these people are. They held back the progressive tide with every fiber of their being, from making sure that what was his name, the AG from that was running for Ellison, from making sure that Keith Ellison did not become the DNC chair. Obama got personally involved to shut that down, to, of course, the Monday Night Massacre, in which he personally called all of the people in Joe Biden's lane to endorse him the night before Super Tuesday. They have fought tooth and nail to make sure that the wing of the Democratic Party that Mamdani, and that is not an endorsement of that party, but does it represent some kind of a change from what Obama is? Sure. They have fought tooth and nail to make sure that people like Mamdani don't get any traction. At this point, they have collectively decided, the best way to secure our legacy is to jump out in front of the parade and pretend this is a continuation of it, because generationally, because of demographic shifts, our people are dying. They're dying every day. Millions of people who voted for Barack Obama, who thought my politics made some kind of fucking sense, are dying. These kids are going to rewrite my legacy as the failure it is. Right?
Yep. Oh, that's exactly what it is.
They got to ingratiate themselves now, or face what I think, from what we know of Obama's narcissism, he's always known that if real progressives, real leftists ever get into power, his legacy is going to be tarnished. They're going to evaluate his legacy as what it is. One excuse after another for why he couldn't do what people wanted him to do.
Right.
Rather than to see now, finally, at the end, he can't hold back the tide anymore. It's an old saying in Africa. Can't beat him, join him. My father used to say that.
Yeah.
Now, Nathan Robinson hit it right on the head. That's exactly what he said. Obama is savvy. He understands what other corporate Democrats don't, which is that since Mamdani is going to win, the best strategy is to try to co-opt him. That too. What kind of policy influence are they going to have on him? Theo Wald. Democrats think Mamdani has unlocked the Obama cheat code. A hip Muslim immigrant with deep family ties to Harvard puts out sleek videos and vapid messaging, making elite white swoon. We've seen this con before, and that's what a lot of people say about Mamdani. We have said that ourselves, although we're maybe a little more hopeful than that. That at the very least, because we know how the government works in New York, the rent freeze is a definite possibility, because that is within the power of the mayor, who appoints the people on the rent board who vote for leases. The rest of it, who knows?
I think he'll probably give protesters an easier time. Than Adams and Cuomo.
And that as well.
Yeah.
That as well.
Yeah.
But in terms of the overall critique, he's a DSA guy, and the DSA is really a sheepdog organization for the Democrats. What Shama says, that you're never really going to be able to take on power as long as you're a Democrat. Yeah, I agree with all that. But I think also to argue, well, it doesn't make a difference if you have him or you have Eric Adams. Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo have both emphatically embraced the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. That has some pretty profound implications for protests in New York City. Ashok Kumar. Mamdani doesn't need advice from Obama, a man who bombed 7 countries, armed Israel to the hilt, deported more people than any president before him, made the world so awful it paved the way for Trump, and then derailed Bernie to install a drooling genocider. No lies detected. Now, I want to just take a look for a second at the meeting Mamdani had last month with the Business Leaders Council. It said there are 100 members. Jamie Dimon came up with an excuse not to attend. He's been very hostile to the Mamdani campaign. But I will say at this meeting, according to people who were there, he didn't back off of his plans when confronted about them by the oligarch class. Zohar Mamdani sticks to socialist guns, tax the rich plan during highly anticipated sit-down with NYC big business leaders. The 90-minute meeting's temperature remained low, even as Mamdani was grilled about his remember this is the New York Post, about his communist-tinged and anti-Israel comments, including his refusal to condemn the globalize the Intifada rallying cry, one attendee told the Post. Asked about his intent to lean on the ultra-wealthy and corporations, Mamdani told the executives that taxes had been raised on those groups in the past without it resulting in an exodus of high earners from the Big Apple, the source said. Quote, he didn't back away from any policy position, though he did so in a non-confrontational manner, the attendee dished. It shows he's a good politician. He was very confident. The slick Mamdani also distanced himself from his past use of the phrase seizing the means of production, a Marxist concept, but in a roundabout way, chalking it up to a rookie mistake, another big business bigwig in attendance said. It was very frustrating, the source said. So this is Liz Hoffman, a financial writer, her assessment of this meeting. Tough meeting for Mamdani with the Partnership for New York CEOs today, I'm told. Stood his ground on Intifada language and wouldn't commit to keeping NYPD Commissioner Tisch, whom this crowd likes, in the job. Also did not recognize her father, Jim Tisch, when he rose for a question. Now, this gives you an idea of the class perspective of these journalists. Oh my God, a lot of them talked about he didn't recognize Jim Tisch. This is a very old money New York family. For the people who would be voting for Mamdani, that speaks very well of him that he did not recognize.
Yeah, who the hell cares?
Who cares? Oh, he didn't recognize
Jim Tisch.
Oh, dear. Don't you know the whole School of the Arts at NYU is named for the family?
I wouldn't know Jim Tisch from a hole in the ground, and I'm perfectly satisfied with that.
So this is some of the responses, which just shows you how out of tune they are with the pulse of the public, these journalists are. Sounds like a tough meeting for the CEOs and not Mamdani. Humans person, quote, tough meeting for Mamdani. He went into a room of billionaires and gave no ground, just like he said he would. And from Ashley, why is he being asked to condemn something he never said? Is it because he is brown and Muslim? So I wanted to include that to be fair. I don't just want to say, he's talking to Obama's people, the fix is in. They certainly think so. And that's certainly their intention. Is their intention to co-opt him, to subvert him in policy terms, and to use him to preserve their own brand? They can see the tide is turning in this direction, and they want to manage the narrative in such a way that Mamdani is perceived not as a repudiation of the Obama legacy, but a continuation and fulfillment of it. Is that what they want out of that relationship? And also to serve their own wealthy interests by subverting his policies. They want to make him an Obama mini-me. Absolutely. Who is Mamdani? was doing what he did in that meeting, just being slick and evasive because he knew it was going to be reported on? And is he savvy enough to realize that's what his base wants to hear, that he didn't back down? And is he then going to back down once he wins? We don't know yet. We don't know yet. All we can say at this time is that when he was put in that situation, he didn't seem to give them what they wanted. He didn't seem to tell them what they wanted to hear. That's not necessarily an indication of what he'll do in office, but I think it would be unfair not to mention it. What does he want out of this? Hey, man, this is what we've talked about with Shama. He's running as a Democrat. In the end, you're running as a Democrat. Yeah, you're going to play politics with the Democratic interest groups. That's part of why we will not endorse the campaign of anyone running as a Democrat. We will not get involved. We will not encourage people to get involved because we know it involves devil's bargains like this. In the end, he's taking pictures with Richie Torres, but you got to say, well, he's running as a Democrat. What's he going to do? Say, fuck you, I'm not taking a picture with the Democratic congressman here? Hakeem Jeffries, man. Brooklyn went for Mamdani by 20 points. Hakeem Jeffries still won't endorse him. Does that mean Mamdani's not going to throw his arms around him if he finally decides it's in his political interest to endorse him, in spite of the fact that there are a few politicians in New York that have been more in the pocket of the industries that Mamdani claims he's going to fight and rein in than Hakeem Jeffries has been? Does that mean he's not going to give him that cover? And if he does endorse Mamdani, that's going to be the reason. Yeah, sure he will. That's why we don't endorse Democrats here. But in terms of assessing what he's trying to do, we don't know. We don't know. We have to see what he will do with power. You could read it either as he's playing his supporters or he's playing the Democrats and the business community. Now, is the latter the way to bet based on our experience, based on history? No, but we shall see.
Yeah, and politically, he is in a different situation than Obama, who clearly felt the need to pivot to the center after the primary. That's why I picked Joe Biden. That's why we say, like, all of this disaster could be traced back to the decisions that Barack Obama made when he campaigned and who he elevated within the party. He ran as this change candidate. Meanwhile, he elevated all of the old relics who he, in a very unlikely fashion, defeated in 2008. Mamdani doesn't have to do that. And the part of why he doesn't have to do that is because things have changed a little bit. The ground has shifted a little bit, in large part due to the Israel-Palestine issue, where now you have a large swath of anti-Zionist voters in New York. Mamdani is winning the Jewish vote. But you also have a 4-candidate race, which helps him tremendously.
Yes.
Because that means he doesn't really have to fish in other ponds because he's got these 3 jackasses splitting all the rest of the vote. Mamdani is winning 70% of the liberals. He's winning 27% of the moderates. He's winning 23% of the conservatives. He's polling ahead of Cuomo with conservatives. Slee was polling at 40 with conservatives, Mamdani at 23, Cuomo at 18. That's a lot of the COVID stuff, which we've talked about, right? Like, Cuomo is just a third rail for Republicans. And so with 4 people in the race, he doesn't have to wheel and deal the way Obama felt that he had to sort of unite the party behind him. Don't forget, when Obama won the primary, there was a huge contingent, and this is history that nobody wants to talk about anymore in the Democratic Party, a huge swath of Hillary voters who refused to vote for him. And in the end, only 75% of Hillary voters in the primary did vote for Barack Obama in the general. So he had a lot more work to do in terms of like building bridges and all this shit. Mamdani is much better equipped to just stand his ground, at least for the campaign season, because there's 4 people in the race. And you got these 3 assholes who, if they really want to beat him, at least one of them would have to drop out. Probably 2 of them would have to drop out, but at least one of them. At least one of them. You can't have Cuomo, Adams, Sliwa, Mamdani and think that the Democrat in the race is not going to come out on top. It's New York City. And, of course, this is why, yes, Barack Obama's trying to get in his ear now, because at this point, it's not about sinking his candidacy. It's about co-opting his mayorship. right? And making sure that business as usual doesn't change too much, because if and when, and I predict when, Mamdani wins, he will be the essential leader of the Democratic Party. I mean, not technically the leader of the Democratic Party, but people are going to look to him as the leader of the party, certainly more than Schumer, more than Jeffries. Those are non-entities. No one cares what they have to say. He is the star when he wins, and Obama was the star when he won, and Obama played a certain game, and he wants to see if he can make sure that Mamdani sticks to that playbook. Will he? It's an open question. It really is. I mean, I just don't really know. Obviously, there are troubling signs. The other thing, though, you have to remember is Mamdani was not born in America, which means he can't run for president, which means like he only has so much in terms of ambition.
Governor's about as far as he can go.
Governor's as far as he can go. So he's not looking at, hey, one day I'm going to have to win Iowa, right? Like he doesn't have to worry about that. So he's not burdened with that. So it'll be interesting to see, but it's not surprising at all. It's not surprising at all. The fact that Obama's in his year is, I think, essentially proof that he has the race on ice. Now we'll see if Barack Obama actually endorses him. That'll be something to see.
Please clap.